A search for the one true faith. James Carter had spent most of his adult life searching for answers. As a journalist, he had traveled the world and met scholars, religious leaders, and spiritual seekers from every tradition. He had meditated in Buddhist monasteries in Nepal, prayed in grand mosques in Istanbul, and listened to Protestant pastors preach in small American towns. Yet, despite all he had learned, something always felt missing. No matter where he turned, he found pieces of truth, but never the whole picture. Every religion he studied had wisdom, but none felt complete. One evening, while walking the streets of Rome, James found himself before St. Peter's Basilica. The massive church, standing as a testament to centuries of faith, seemed to call him in. He stepped inside, gazing in awe at the beauty surrounding him. The golden glow of candlelight, the scent of incense, and the whispers of prayers created an atmosphere unlike anything he had ever experienced. As he wandered through the basilica, he stopped in front of a statue of the Virgin Mary cradling Jesus, Michelangelo's Pieta. The sorrow on Mary's face, the lifeless body of Christ in her arms, struck something deep within him. It wasn't just art, it was a story, a truth greater than words. Lost in thought, James didn't notice the priest standing beside him until he spoke. "You seem moved," the priest said. James turned to see an elderly man with kind eyes and a warm smile. "I guess I am," James admitted. "I've spent years searching for truth, but no matter where I look, I can't seem to find the full answer." The priest nodded. "Then perhaps you're searching in the wrong places. Come, let's talk." A history unlike any other, the priest, Father Michael, invited James to sit with him inside a quiet chapel. There, he shared something that James had never truly considered before. "Do you know why this church is here?" Father Michael asked. "Well, it's the Vatican. It's the center of Catholicism," James replied. "But why?" Father Michael pressed. "Why is the Catholic Church the only Christian church that has existed for 2,000 years without breaking apart? Why do we have an unbroken line of popes, starting from St. Peter, who walked with Christ himself?" James was silent. He had studied many faiths, but none could claim what the Catholic Church could, directly being founded by Jesus himself. "Christ established one church," Father Michael continued. "He told Peter, 'You are Peter, and upon this rock I will build my church, and the gates of hell shall not prevail against it.' That wasn't a metaphor. He made Peter the first pope, and every pope after him continues that same authority given by Christ." James had never thought of it that way before. He had seen Christianity as a collection of beliefs and churches, but he never realized that only one church traced its authority directly to Christ, the heart of the church, the Eucharist. Over the next few days, Father Michael taught James more about Catholicism. He spoke about the saints, the sacraments, and the moral teachings that had remained unchanged for centuries. But the most powerful lesson came when he took James to Eucharistic adoration. Inside a dimly lit chapel, a golden monstrance held a small white host, what Catholics believe to be the actual body of Christ. People knelt in silence, praying in front of it. "This," Father Michael said softly, "is what makes Catholicism the fullest and purest faith." Every other Christian group broke away from the Catholic Church at some point in history. But we still have what they left behind, the true presence of Christ in the Eucharist. James looked at the host, confused. "Isn't that just a symbol?" Father Michael shook his head. "Not at all. Jesus himself said, 'This is my body. This is my blood.' Not 'this represents' or 'this symbolizes.' He meant it literally. And for 2,000 years, the Catholic Church has faithfully preserved that miracle. When you receive the Eucharist, you aren't just remembering Christ, you are receiving him physically and spiritually. No other faith can offer that." James felt a chill run down his spine. Could it be true? That God did not just ask for belief, but tangibly offered himself, the answer he had been searching for that night. James reflected on everything he had learned. Every other religion he studied contained wisdom, but Catholicism held something deeper. It held Christ himself. The unbroken history, the unchanged teachings, the sacraments, and most of all, the Eucharist, proved to him that this was not just another religion. This was the faith, the one Christ himself established. The next morning, James approached Father Michael with a sense of clarity he had never felt before. "I want to become Catholic," he said. "I finally understand. Truth isn't something we piece together. It's something God has already given us, fully, in his church." Father Michael smiled. "Then welcome home, my son." And for the first time in his life, James knew his search was over. Thank you for watching. Please give me a like and leave any comments about your thoughts on this video.